Hello everyone. We'll wait a few minutes and then we'll start. Welcome everyone. Still give us a few minutes and then we will start. We're waiting the Miami time. Okay, 5 minutes after 6, so it's time to start. I see that some parents are still joining. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We hope to have, yes, a lot of parents, but also a lot of players coming, so that maybe, most of all, the youngest one can get more insight and more information, more knowledge about volleyball and about volleyball system and strategy. That is the topic of tonight. We'll try to finish in 1 hour. If you were with us also last time when we spoke about rules and basic concept of volleyball, there will be a quiz. So we'll make it interactive so that you can play on your end. You already see that there's a QR code on the presentation. You can use your device to take a picture of the QR code and go on the link. Or as you can see on the bottom, you have a web address that is slides.com and then /MWVB, where you will be able to access in an interactive way the quiz and participate. The top 3 of you will win some swag. So feel free to play, no matter if you're a player or if you're a parent. If more than just one of you are at home, if 4 of you are in your household and you all want to play, go for it. More chances to win. Okay, so as we were mentioning tonight is about system and strategy. We will go a little bit deeper and a little bit more advanced than usual. Mia, our club director, is here as usual, and she's playing. And then obviously she will intervene whenever she wants. I see that there are already some people that are joining the game. So even if we're still talking and there's no question yet on the screen, you can go on and start registering. You see numbers coming up. I'll give you some time, and in the meantime, I'll see if we can start going in the next slide. So this is slide number 2, where you have all the information that I was sharing with you, but bigger. So I'll give you like 1 minute to take a look and start working on it. Make sure to join. We'll start in 20 seconds. I'll wait another 10 seconds for you guys, and then we'll start. And right after this slide, there will be a question. So make sure that you're ready to go. Unfortunately, we cannot wait for others. There's way more than these 17 online. So if you can, please make sure to join. Otherwise, you will lose your chance to participate. Let's see if we can get to 20. Still have 5 seconds. Nothing. It's time. Okay, so we have a few players joining. 5 players already. 6 players already. $13. 16. Let's see if we can get to the 18, 15. Come on, guys, let's go up. And we start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Top part of your body will go. 25 seconds to on. Okay, well, the first one was just to break the ice, but we already lost someone. Okay, so your forearms. Your forearms are the one that you will use when you pass the ball, and we'll talk about technique soon. Your fingertips are the ones that you use when you set. Your fist should never touch the ball when you pass. Actually, it's just getting the grip to keep your arms together. Okay, let's see results. Am I swinging? Giulia third, Emma first, same score. Okay, let's move on. We have 10 questions. Okay, so you have time to get to the podium. Okay, second question. What Okay, so yes, definitely serve. Some of you chose attack, but not jump float. Is on a serve, and I will show you a few things very soon. Okay, Giulia got first place together with Nina and Luna, and then we have Gabi, and then Elise, and then Brenda. Okay, so talking a bit about skills, most of all for you parents. So there are 6 fundamentals, 6 skills. One is serve, that is the way you start the rally. Then in sequence or in chronological order, you are passing. As you can see from the picture, normally you pass using your forearm. And then setting. So setting is the second contact out of this the series of 3 that you have in volleyball as a team. No? So you pass, then you set, and then someone will hit or tip or anyway send the ball over. And then once that you hit, there will be someone blocking on the other side. And block is something that is pretty advanced, so it depends on the age. So usually U11, U12, you don't block a lot, and then you start having 1 blocker and then 2 blockers, and in some cases even 3 blockers when the level of the attack becomes way higher. And then you have defense here. It's called digging in this picture, but it's defense. And that's from defense. If there's a good defense, there will be a set again, someone hitting or tipping, and then blocking again, and so on and so forth. Regarding jumping, serving, that is the only skill, the only fundamental out of all the ones in volleyball where you are in full control of the ball. Why? Because it's the only time that the ball is steady in your hands. In all the other situations, the other 5 of the 6 skills that we were looking at before, the ball is coming to you, and you have to respond to that ball. okay, without catching it. So the only one where you have full control of what's happening and you have full control of the execution of your movement is this one, serving. And there are several techniques, like there are several techniques in every single skill and fundamental. But just to explain you the different techniques. So normally when you start, you play U10, U11, you start with underhand serve. So you serve with the ball low, under your belly normally, and you serve or with your fist, okay, or with your open hand from under. Then you go up and you start serving standing float. Okay, float means that the ball will not spin. That creates a typical characteristic that makes the ball move without a clear trajectory. Then it will be jump float, so it is the same standing float technique, but with an approach and a jump. And then most of all, male players, so in boys and men volleyball, but there are some jump spin, top spin server in female volleyball as well. And then jump fling, that is a combination between float and spin. So there's like a jump float toss technique combined with a top spin contact. So there are a lot of variation, but still the five main categories are this one. Okay, let's move on and let's go to the next question. Ready to go? We'll do yeah, this was tricky. Even Mia was discussing now with me. So it's left front and middle back, meaning that normally the outside hitter, when they're front row, they play on the left, and when they're back row, they play in the middle. So just a few of you were able to get it. The players that play middle front are called middle blockers. Okay, so we have a new ranking. So Julia is first, Elena second, and then we have Nina Luna there third. Okay, we have another question coming up about positions. Yes, so 100% of you got it right. Yes, quickness and timing for blocking. Yeah, that's why they're called middle blocker. They're in the middle of the net, and they have to move all around the net, so from one antenna to the other, in order to block the whole net and every player that is hitting. So quickness and timing for blocking are definitely the two things they need to work on. Julia is still first, so the ranking didn't change a lot in the first position. And then let's see what's happening here. Okay. There's still time to improve and change your ranking. So let's talk a little bit about position. So setter outside hitter, libero, middle blocker, opposite, DS. So these are the 6 main positions. That doesn't mean at every age you have all of them. Normally, when you're in U11, when you start to play very young, normally everyone does everything. So, when you're in a certain position on the court, since you have to rotate, you're the one passing, and then you go front throw and you hit, and then eventually you can set. So you don't have a position. Then once that you start to go to step 2, you will have players that are more dedicated to setting and players that are more dedicated to first and third touch, so passing and hitting. And then you start dividing the players that are more specialized on back row skills and the ones that are more front row skills, so maybe the libero and the DS. So getting deeper into it, you have setter, that is the one, number 1, that is the one that manages the second touch. She's like the quarterback, the playmaker, in other sports. So she's the one that decide how we play offensively. So she's the one that set to the left, to the middle, to the right, back row, wherever it can be. Then you have the outside hitter that, as we were saying, is the one playing from the left, hitting from the left of the net. Okay, so front row and back row, you have 3 zones. Now, left, middle, right, and then back row, you have right, middle, left. So the one hitting from the left normally is called outside hitter, and when they go front row, and again, I say normally because every coach then decide what to do, but normally the outside hitter digs from middle back once she rotates back row. Number 3 is the opposite. That is called like that because she plays opposite to the setter. So when they start in the lineup, she would be the one that is opposite to the setter, and she normally hits from the right side of the net. So when she's front row, you will see her hitting from the right. And then you have the middle blocker, number 4. Okay, the middle blocker is the one that take control of the middle of the net, and she tries to block as much as possible, while obviously she hits as well. Then, as you can see, number 5 has a different color, different shirt. So that one is the libero. That is a player that is specialized and can play by rules only back row, and normally goes in the court subbing the middle blocker. Again, normally there are other teams that play other way, but I would say 99% of the team play that way. And then number 6 is the DS. Is sort of additional libero, but with the normal standard uniform. So it will be a substitution. Let's say that we have a player that is really good front row, but we need some help back row. She will be sub with the DS that then will play back row. So it's a DS stands for defensive specialist. So she's someone that plays back row and help on passing in the same way libero should be the main passing defense service player. So just a refresh. So there are 6 zones. 3 zones are back row. 3 zones are front row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, and 4 are front row. 5, 6, and 1 are back row. That's why there are 6 players. So each player in one zone. Okay, and normally this is the way you play. So once that you see them during a rally, you could see the setter in zone 1, so on the right back, then the opposite right front, middle blocker middle front, outside hitter on the left front and middle back, like we were saying, and libero left back. This is the way they should start. So since in volleyball rotations are mandatory, so you have to rotate and you have to be in your position. So every time If you start in zone 1, so if you start right back, you cannot magically appear left front. So in that rotation, you have to respect your position. So you have to be there on the serve in order to be in the right spot by rules. If the ref finds you in the wrong position, they will give the point to the other team. Then while you're playing the rally, so after the server release the ball, you can move wherever you want. So you don't have any rule anymore. But until the serve is completed, you have to be in your position. So normally when you start the rally, you should be like this. Okay, and then when you rotate, you will all rotate in the same way. Okay, let's keep it simple. Situation is where okay, yes, it's definitely a free ball. Okay, so the free ball is the easiest situation that can happen in volleyball. So a free ball is when the other team is not able to attack you. So maybe, the pass was not good or the side was not good. So they have to send the ball directly over with a bump, with a set. So the ball comes to you slower. So whenever the ball comes to your court slower, that makes your life easier. Okay, so your life is easier or harder based on the speed of the ball, of the incoming ball. So a hard serve makes your life more complicated because you have less time to react. A hard swing, not hitting the ball from the top of the net, makes your life harder because, closer distance, higher speed, time of reaction becomes very short. So that is why it's more complicated to play when the level gets higher because the ball goes faster. Okay, so Giulia still first, Elena, and then Nina, Luna, and then the other ones are very close. So everything is possible. Every question is giving you 100 points. So everything can happen. So let's talk a little bit about, a few words that maybe you can hear parents as while you're watching a tournament. So a free ball is what I just told you. A down ball is like a free ball, but it's a ball that someone hit from the other side without jumping. So it's down ball. So it's very similar to a free ball, but probably will go a little bit harder because they hit it. So they attack it, but without jumping. So that's called a down ball. Then you have a joust. Jousts are those balls that land, that are exactly over the top of the net. So two players try to jump and play it at the same time. So that's a joust. When four hands get on the ball together on a ball that remain on the net. So one from one team, one from the other, they try to push it over. A tip is just a ball played with your fingertips, okay? That becomes a dump whenever a setter with a second touch, because the setter is the one that manages the second touch, tip the ball over, okay? So dump is a tip from the setter on the second touch. And the roll shot is a tactical ball, normally not powerful, okay? Just played with your hand in order to place the ball normally short to score, or anyway to create some trouble on the other side. So these are a few words that eventually you will hear during a tournament. We are question number 6. Faces in volleyball. How are these? you see, it's well balanced. But unfortunately, the right answer is side out and breakpoint. So there are two phases in volleyball. We don't go by halves because volleyball is not soccer where we go at first half, second half. Serve and pass, yes, there is serve and pass, but they're just two different fundamentals, so two different skills. There are two phases in volleyball that are called side out and break point. So whenever the other team is serving to you, in the meantime, let's take a look here. So a little bit of a change, again, very close. There are a lot of players over 300 points, so it's really close. But as I was saying, so side out is whenever you're siding out, your team is trying to side out every time that the other team serve. Okay, so when the other team is serving and you're on serve receive, you're playing, it's called in two ways, or complex one. Complex one is all the phase where the other team is serving, so serve receive, set and hit, side out. Okay, when you're serving, when your team is serving, and you're trying to score, you're trying to break point. Okay, you're in the break point phase. Okay, so block, serve, block, defense, that's a break point or complex two phase. Okay, so when you hear a lot of girls, now you will hear them during the game, they have their cheers, side out now, side out now. Some of them don't even know what it means. But they just sing it because they heard of it, and it's side out means let's get back the ball. So let's go back to serve. So let's win this serve receive, this side out in order to get back to serve. Okay, I think we have a question coming up, so be ready with your phone. Yes, question number 7. All the offenses in Europe move. Okay. I think that you guys recognize many of them. So 6-2, 4-2, 5-1. There is one that was not recognized by a lot of you, but kudos to the one that did. That was a 6-6, 3-3. 3-3 is not an option, or at least it's not the primary one. Okay, so new ranking. Still a lot of you over 300. So let's talk a little bit about systems. So system get defined by numbers. How do they get defined by numbers? They get defined by numbers in this way. The first number that you read is the number of hitters. The second number that you read is the number of setters. Then you can say, well, how can it be that the sum is not 6, since there are 6 players on the court? Because sometimes players can play multiple positions depending on what rotation they are. No? So, for example, the 5-1 and 4-2, the sum of those two number is 6. Why? Because the players that are setting, so in the 5-1, 1 only, and in the 4-2, 2, do only that. So they don't hit. Okay, so they're only setter. They're dedicated to setting and nothing else. In the 6-6, 6-3, 6-2, some setter will also hit. So when I was talking with you about, when you start in U10, U11, everyone does everything. It's a 6-6 system, meaning that everyone will set, everyone will hit. Okay, so you have 6 setters on the court. and 6 hitters on the court. So everyone, all of those 6 players will do both. Okay, in a 6-3 and a 6-2 system, it's a hybrid. So there are some of these players in the 6-3, obviously only 3, that will hit only, and 3 that will do both. In the 6-2, there will be 4 players that hit only, and 2, the 2 setters, that when they're back row, they will play as setters, and with their front row, they will play as hitters. So they will count as both. So that's why they go up to 8. 5-1 and 4-2 are a pure system in which setters are just setting. Okay, 6 rotation out of 6 or 3 rotation out of 6, like in the 4-2, in the 4-2. Hope you got it. Like, this is a video. I will not show you everything.
The 5-1 volleyball offense is an offensive system that includes 5 players that will be an offensive player throughout the rotations and 1 permanent setter.
Let me see if I can go
attackers
in and I will remove the audio. So you see there are rotations. So every time you rotate the setter, since there's just one, will go in different positions. So this is a row 4, no? And then they will rotate, and then the setter will be in zone 3. So every time that you rotate, you have to structure and start your rally in a different, start your position in a different way, in order for everyone to then go to hit in the right place, go to pass in the right way. So for example, now this is row 1. This is row 1. Okay, so the setter is here in zone 1. Okay, and you see how the players move right on the touch of the serve to go in their position so that the outside hitter can hit from the left, the right side hitter and the opposite can hit from the right, the middle blocker can be in the middle. Okay, so in this way, you specialize your player to do only that thing. This is a row 2. Okay, so you see that it's a different position than before. Why? Because they need to respect their position on the court in order to be legally by rule there. And then right on the serve, they all move and transition and go to their place. Okay, and then again, there's more stuff here happening. This is row 3, and it's a different position on the court compared to what it was in row 2. Okay, and now you will see the setter goes in, because then she can go to her right place. And then she sets to the outside hitter, because this was set to the outside hitter to the left to kill it. Okay, let's watch the last ball. This is row 4. You see setter now is here. Okay, and she will need to run to go to her spot here on the serve. And then here we go. She set to the middle blocker. Defense. Let's see what happened. And she set to the outside hitter, and the outside hitter kills it. Okay, I know that it's not easy. Oh, sorry. Let me see. Okay. Question number 8. Why is pipe volleyball? Okay, so actually, guys, you got it right. And I made a mistake because it's a back row attack from the middle. It's signed it as it's wrong. It's not wrong. It's obviously right. So it's a back row attack from the middle of the court. I set it up wrong when we set up the quiz. Thanks God, all of you, with the exception of one, did it wrong, so it will not count.
The one will count.
Yeah, the one will count. Thank you, Mia. Yeah, so yes, it's a back row attack from the middle, and now we'll talk a little bit about. You see, it didn't change anything. Thanks God. Sorry, guys. Definitely my fault. No one else. Okay, let's talk a little bit about hitting. So we took a look at the offensive system. So how you play, how many setters you keep on the court. It's based a bit the way you keep the setters on the court. Like, do you want to play with one setter, two setters, three setters, six setters? It depends a lot on the characteristic of your team, your age. So 5-1 is the system that all the pro team and all the national teams around the globe use. And then right under, you have the 6-2. And then after that, you have the youth volleyball system. There are 4-2, 6-2, and 5-1, because anyway, even youth teams use 6-2 and 5-1. You have the 6-3. So there are a lot of alternatives that you use more in the youth at the youth level. Okay, then talking about pipe and the offensive system. So there are a lot of ways to call balls. So obviously, when you're U10, U11, there's no codes for the sets. No, so the setter just lift the ball on the left, lift the ball on the right, and someone will try to kill it and hit it in one way or another. Okay, that's the base. Then from there you build your setter strategy, and you build your offensive system with different trajectories. Now, like, let's say, if you're familiar with American football, I'm not, but I know they have like 7,000 different plays, no? And every play has a code. It's the same thing in volleyball. So in the same way, the quarterback calls the play for the next action. Guys, forgive me if the terms are not the right one. There are calls for what to hit with each hitter. So as you can see now here, you see a lot of numbers. These are the typical numbers for the US. In Europe, you use different codification, but the idea doesn't change. So the setter can set different trajectories to the outside hitter. They can set a 5, they can set a 4, they can set a shoot. Okay, they are in different spot, so they will have different point of contact on the net, and they have different time. Some of them are faster, some of them are slower, some of them are shorter, some of them are longer. Okay, same thing on the back. And then you have back row sets. So if you want to hit also with the players that currently are back row, you can do it. You can set the red, you can set the white, you can set the blue. Okay, I see a lot of question points. And you want to hit with your middle blocker. Okay, you can give a middle blocker a ball in front of the setter, or you can tell the middle blocker to go behind the setter to play a B. Okay, or you can play a 31, that is a ball farther from the setter. So it becomes from a very simple thing where you as a setter, you just set the ball to the outside hitter, and that's it. Now, and the outside hitter will get the right timing and will try to be there to hit the ball, to another layer, to another level where each player can hit several kind of balls. Maybe one that is faster. So if I'm a hitter, I would need to start my approach earlier, okay, and get there earlier, or I will need to go to another point of the net because maybe it will not be on the left anymore, it will be closer to the middle. So there are a lot of variation to make the tactical offense more structured and more complex, to make the opponent life harder. Okay, because it's harder when you're blocking and digging if you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so if you don't have a clear idea what's going to happen on the other side, then it becomes really hard to understand and forecast where I have to go, what I need to dig. I hope that I made it as clear as possible. And I know that it's hard to learn how to coach and play at this level in 15 minutes. Okay,